Don't do that. You want to tear an ACL? You want to rip your meniscus in half for no particular reason, working on a clown shot? Welcome back to Balanced Basketball Academy, and today we're looking at another baller or bogus video. And for those of you who have not seen one of these videos before, you're in for a treat, because basically we're going to be taking a look at TikTok drills, stuff I found on Instagram, and whether or not this drill is baller, as in good, or bogus, a waste of your time. So again, for those of you who are brand new, I'm Jordan. I was a former high school basketball player turned college basketball player turned trainer. And today we're looking at some of the craziest things TikTok has to show us about how you should be training your basketball skills and whether or not they're worth a salt or not. Let's get right into it.
Here's why getting rid of dribbling sometimes is valuable for players in training, especially younger ones, to develop some important qualities. So first off, just notice how confidently they're moving, experimenting, shifting, changing direction without having to focus on controlling the ball. But they still have the constraint of holding the ball, which prevents them from using both arms, similar to having a dribble. And it gets them a ton of reps developing the feel for manipulating momentum and acting on it without having to wait for their ball control to become high level to do so. And of course, we'll work on ball control too, but this is a great way to build movement early on, especially at a young age when players are most receptive to learning this. And honestly, even if an athlete can handle the ball well, sometimes taking away just gives you more confidence to try things, take new angles, be physical, and be creative movement-wise.
I don't know if this is everybody's opinion coming out of this, but I was basically like, okay, so you're just teaching these boys how to play flag football or football. And for those of you who are not from the States, I'm talking about American football, where you're carrying that little weird oval ball around and you're trying to score touchdowns and so on. You know, I hate to womansplain. I do understand the premise of you do want to teach players to be able to how to move and get confident with the ball. The deal is, though, is that confidence comes with a ability that they learn through dribbling through time, over time. If they don't dribble, then like their creativity with the ball, again, it's going to be limited, but they're not going to get any better by starting to just do a bunch of traveling and carrying. And I know that he's not encouraging players to travel. He's just trying to like get them to think more creatively. But you just need to basically just get more reps. If you can't, actually get creative with the ball, you just need more reps. You need to become a better dribbler first. I will say this is a final thing. Cross-training for young athletes is really good. Having a athlete that plays soccer, that plays football, that plays baseball, that plays volleyball, that plays basketball, those different sports are going to help each other because you're going to learn different movement patterns and your body's going to get more flexible with, different athletic movements. Play football. This drill's bogus, though, as far as basketball goes. This is not a basketball drill. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to play the audio of this clip because it has the Stranger Things intro. For those of you who are not familiar, let me give a rendition. That's it. Basically, on a more basketball-focused note, there's a coach that is probably filming or is behind the camera who is saying 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Giving a player roughly 5 seconds. It's kind of a quick count, so it's like 4 to 3 seconds to make a move and finish. This is a good drill. When there's 9 other people on the floor, not including yourself, your ability to just slice and dice and operate and play one-on-one gets shrunk considerably because you have less space to operate. There's more people who are aware of what you're doing, and the more time you spend doing crazy dribble drills and not going anywhere, the more time the defense will pull to you and your opportunity is going to shrink. If you can score in a couple of seconds and make a good move and get by your defender, great. If you can't, and you make that move and in the 4-second timeline you can't do it and you have to pass it out, fine, good. But at least you didn't waste 10 seconds of the shot clock trying to slice and dice and then you got nothing. This is a good thing to teach players because, again, you are not going to have endless dribble moves and endless time to get your move. You are on a team. You have to operate as an individual for short spurts, and you have to be effective with that time.
Did you know that basketball requires insane athleticism while also having incredible precision in your skills? Of course you knew that, but you still don't train like it, and I don't understand why. Your athletic ability and how you can move with the ball in your hands determines how good you actually are at basketball. Most players do simple basic drills like this, then they do some plyos on the side, feel pretty good about themselves, and then call it a day. I never understood why players don't combine athleticism work with skill work at the same time. Because in the game, you have to be athletic with the ball in your hand, so why wouldn't you practice that? Drills like I've been showing practice your athletic ability at full speed while the ball is in your hands, which again is what you're...
All right, I'm going to stop it there. Subscribers of the channel, followers of the tenets of Balanced Basketball Academy. Yes, it's a cult now. Welcome to the cult. Would know that a lot of like the stuff that comes out of this particular gym, which is where a lot of Coach Ross's content comes out of, tends to be bogus. This does not break that pattern. The spinny thing is just bizarre. It's like the whole idea that doing your basic dribbling drills and your layups and then some plyos and calling it a day is not good enough, and that you need to be training your athleticism while you're working out implies that when you're training your shooting and dribbling drills that you're not training any athleticism at all, which is just fundamentally untrue. Depending on how you train, now there's some people who, again, are just looking to get up some shots and they're not doing the most athletic thing they're capable of during any given workout session. Fine, that's okay, you don't have to. But to imply that people don't train their athleticism while they're doing finishing drills on their own time or in practice, or while they're doing, dribbling moves into a shot or into a finish isn't practicing their athleticism in real time, it's just disingenuous. Like, guys, come on now. You can't tell me that you're not training your athleticism because you're not doing some clown long jump drill that requires you to do all these kind of double pumps and crazy stuff like that. Those drills are going to challenge you. Are they going to be helpful to you? No. Not any more so than the stuff that you would actually do in a game. And I guess my whole frustration with this is that this particular channel and channels like it are trying to reinvent the wheel. They're trying to create new stuff that looks shinier and fancier and convince you that it's better and that it's going to make you a lot better, when in reality, the stuff that made the great players of the NBA great in the 90s and in the 2000s are basic stuff that still works today. You just gotta put your head down and do it. Also, nothing wrong with plyos. If you want to work on your athleticism, do plyos. I'll show you right quick. Don't do that. You want to tear an ACL? You want to rip your meniscus in half for no particular reason, working on a clown shot? Do that. No. Bad. Bogus. Like, double bogus.
Move your feet. Move your feet. Good. Good. Go around the inside.
I don't hate this drill inherently. I think it's interesting. They have like a hula hoop that's looped around both the ball handler and the defender. You don't need the hula hoop though. It could force the defender to be closer to the ball handler than they would normally be, putting pressure on the ball handler, creating them, giving a more of an illusion of pressure that they can practice and use in games. But you can do this without the dumb hula hoop thing. Like, you can just do this normally. This doesn't fix anything, doesn't change anything. They're not pulling away from each other, really. It's just a prop for the sake of a prop. So, the drill itself, yeah, like the basic fundamentals of it, of dribbling and working under pressure and it working as a cardio drill, baller. But the little hula hoop thing that I think they're trying to sell it on is bogus. All right, I'm going to take this drill as potentially just a hype, I did a cool thing drill, as opposed to like actual basketball training. When it comes to shooting with a super high arc is actually not the most ergonomic thing to do for your shot. About 45 to 50 degrees is where you want to be sitting as far as the most effective way to give the ball the best angle to get into the basket. and also without you using a lot of extra power to get the shot really high up. 45 degrees is the perfect arc for a shot. That is statistically proven. That is not obviously 45 degrees. That's closer to like 80 or 70 something. It's pretty high. Shooting with a super high arc, it can be seen in situations where people are shooting floaters. And the main reason why they do that is to avoid shot blockers. It makes the shot really difficult to be able to capture in the air because the ball is just hitting such a high peak, and it gets 9 feet in the air within a second, as opposed to during a normal shot, the ball takes a little longer to get to that same height because it just isn't launched at the same angle. That's the reason why you see high arcing floaters. The reason why you don't see high arcing jump shots is because it requires you to shoot the ball like basically perfectly. Let's imagine this. If you shoot the ball really high up in the air, your room for error gets a lot smaller because the chances of the ball hitting the back of the rim and going in, or hitting the front of the rim and looping in, or doing some kind of favorable bounce gets a lot lower because it's coming at such a sharp angle that it's going to just clang right off the rim in any direction, and the chances of it going in are going to be harder. This also goes in the other direction. When you're shooting below 45 degrees, the ball's going to have a lot harder time getting into the hoop and getting favorable bounces. It takes less power to shoot from a lower arc, but it becomes less favorable for you percentage-wise. That's why, again, 45 is that really good number. If you want to shoot with a slightly higher arc, you can go about as high as 50, and you're going to get a little soft touch on that as well, but you just have to put more power into your shot. This is not necessarily a drill. I'm not going to classify it as baller or bogus because I don't think it's trying to be. But from a learning perspective, shooting 90 degrees or shooting 80 degrees in the air is not going to help you, and that is bogus.
One, you gotta do 3. 1 set. It's suicide. But like this. Exactly. You gotta slide. So you can't be here. Remember, your feet can't come up. Bam, I'm getting there quick. Get that over with, get it out.
This is actually surprisingly relevant considering Marcus Smart just signed with the Los Angeles Lakers. Marcus Smart, former Defensive Player of the Year, basically all-around defensive menace, has been known for being really effective for a long time, and we're getting into a defensive drill, so this is kind of fun. We don't normally do that. And one of the drills that I've seen this video before, he does is he just takes the pinky and he just makes sure that it has contact with the floor and does a defensive slide, like so. But as a suicide, so free throw line back, half court back, other free throw line, back, full court back. That's a suicide in basketball terms. It's a really tough drill. It is going to be an endurance drill and possibly also a speed drill if you're actually doing it quickly. He was doing it quickly. The guy in the TikTok video was not doing it nearly as quickly. Either way, your legs are going to be burning for it. I would say this is a baller drill. This is something that a terrible, mean-spirited coach would make you do, like myself. The end-all be-all of defense is not always being super low, but if you are lower than the offensive player, you're going to have an advantage, because if they get lower than you, suddenly you're at the disadvantage. If you're used to sitting in that position where you're low and you're fast, you're going to be really difficult to deal with as far as how the offensive player is going to try and score on you. So, you know, this drill sucks, but it's got benefits. Okay, there's like a ton of cuss words in this particular video, so I'm going to not play the audio. You're gonna get something else instead. What it'll be, only editing Jordan knows. But the drill, let's talk about the drill itself, is bogus. This is dumb. This is beyond dumb. Just throwing a weighted ball at somebody and saying, yeah, this is what a defender's gonna be like. No, there are tools for this. You can use a contact pad where somebody's bodying you as you're going up. You can use that. Coaches do that all the time. I've had that at pretty much every level of the game, as far as practice with that goes. You can also use like a foam roller, and you can use that to hold up and make contact on the person's arm or try and block the shot as a coach. It's a lot safer than potentially trying to do it yourself with your own hands and arms, and it keeps you out of their landing space. That also works really well. Throwing a medicine ball at somebody and then hitting them in the face, and then they like can't get a shot off and being like, whoa, you didn't get the shot off, you failed the drill, is like basically a player like is getting hit by something in the air, and it's coming in midair, and it's like the shape of a ball, not the shape of a human, so it's like you're getting hit by a projectile, not a defender. I think that's the best way I can put it. Overall, bad. No. With that, it's the end of the video, guys. I know, I'm sad too. But, again, we had a good one. There's a couple good drills in there. You know, I always like to make sure there's some good stuff in there because TikTok is a wasteland, but it is not completely useless. Just gotta wade through it. And obviously, there was some of the bad and the ugly. But again, if you guys want to send me more drills that you want me to take a look at, the best way to get into contact with me is Instagram DMs. If you want to do that, that's in the description. You can find my Instagram, DM me whatever the video is, and I'll take a look at it. Can't guarantee anything, but I definitely would be intrigued, and I love to hear you guys' comments and feedback. That is something that I really do look forward to when I put out videos. It's just, what do you guys think? What's the climate on, you know, basketball training and so on? Final ask, if you've made it this far and you have not subscribed, please subscribe. I'd really, really appreciate it. But regardless, I appreciate you guys being in the video this long anyway. Super big win. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a great week, guys. I'll see you around.